Well, hello and welcome to another little episode, a bit of a different one, of DSLR life. And it's different today because I kind of need to explain a bit about all this stuff here and what's going on with that. Now, if you've been watching my channel this last couple of years or so, you'll know that I am a Nikon guy, a Nikon user. And I've been using DSLRs for about the last, I don't know, 14, 15 years, something like that. And I started off with a Nikon D300 and then changed up to a full frame Nikon D800. And that was in the days when I kind of had hopes that I might make something, at least a part-time career out of doing things like weddings and that kind of stuff, but that never really worked out. And I soon discovered that if you're going to do stuff like that kind of an enterprise, one, you need a lot of gear, this kind of gear, and two, you need a lot of time and you really need to dedicate yourself to it, and I just was not able to do that. So my usage has changed, and over the years, in the last couple of years particularly, I've been out and about a lot more with my camera gear. I have been up mountains and down dales, as they say. I've been doing landscape shoots at the coast, all kinds of stuff really. I've been out there in my magic little two-man tent in all kinds of weathers. And all of that is absolutely great until you try to put this stuff on your back. And there's more, but in here we've got a Nikon D800, a D7100, a whole host of separate lenses, two SB800 speedlight flash units, a great big 80 to 200mm heavy lenses built like an absolute tank, and so gradually over the years I've just added to my gear, and I've bought specialist lenses to do special things, and they're great. They're really really good quality, and you can get some great images as long as you've got it with you. And that is the problem that I am finding, that by the time I have filled up my backpack with 50 something pounds, 55 pounds of camping gear, I'm having to choose to leave most of this equipment behind, and there isn't an awful lot of point having it if at the end of the day you can't actually take it with you. And there's an old adage, isn't there, that the best camera is the one that you have with you. And that's why iPhones and other phones, I don't want to just be Apple centrist, but this is why so many people take photos now with their smartphones, because they have it with them. And it doesn't matter how good all of this gear is, it doesn't matter how professional it is, if I can't take it with me, then it's not going to do the job that it is designed to do. So what is the answer? Well, for the purists among you, this is going to be a bit shocking really, because I think the answer increasingly is going to look like this. And this is my new tiny little Sony RX100 Mark V, and its capabilities are absolutely amazing. Its specification is way better than the first Nikon D300 that I had. It's a 20 something megapixel camera. It will shoot in high-res 4K video. It will give me ridiculous slow motion capability, 240 frames per second at full 1080p high resolution, yeah, it's just going, I think, to revolutionize what I can do when I'm out and about. But it's not enough on its own, because the lens on it is only a 24 to 70 millimeter, so it doesn't give me massive reach. It does have a mode where I can probably extend that to something equivalent to about 100, 120, something like that, with some quality reduction. But nevertheless, as a vlogging camera, for something that I can use for video when I'm out and about and for doing slow motion shots, it'll be brilliant. It also has an aperture of f1.8 and a specialist time-lapse app that you can add to it, which I have done, which will enable me to do astro time-lapse shots with this thing, and to be able to capture the night sky at f1.8 is going to mean that I can shoot with a much shorter shutter time than I have been doing. But as I say, it isn't enough on its own, so I will also be getting a big brother to this, which is the Sony RX10 Mark IV, and I'm not going to order that yet. I'm going to wait till all of this kit here has actually sold. Some of it is already packaged up and ready to go in the post, as you can see, and you know, I will raise enough from selling all of this to buy myself well, firstly this one that I've bought here, the RX100, a new RX10 Mark V, and a new crane on which I will be able to mount either of these cameras, the Giant Crane Plus. So that will give me a great deal more capability. The RX10 has a zoom range from 24mm up to 600mm, and an aperture of f4 at 600mm. I couldn't afford to buy a lens for my Nikon gear that would give me that kind of reach at that kind of aperture. We'd be talking thousands of pounds. And so what I will end up with is something that weighs a fraction of all of this gear, and I'll always be able to have it with me, and that's the most important thing. It doesn't matter how good your camera equipment is, if you haven't got it with you, it is just going to be useless to you. So I know I've warbled on a bit, but I'm going to be sad to say goodbye to all of this kit, because it served me so well over the years. But nevertheless, I really need something that can travel with me. I mean, I went on holiday recently to Bude, and I took my enormous great camera sack full of gear, and it stayed the entire holiday in the room that in the chalet that we had hired for the week. I never took it out because it was just too cumbersome to take out and about with me with the family. So there you go, it's going to be the end of an era, and over the coming weeks I shall be getting to know my new Sony equipment, and I'm sure there's going to be a fairly steep learning curve, but I'm looking forward to it. I think there's going to be new challenges, and it's going to be, how do I get the best out of the equipment that I now have? How do I get the best out of something where I know now I can't just swap out a different lens, but nevertheless I should have all of the reach that I need and all of the capabilities that I need with these cameras. I may lose a little of something in terms of, you know, I'm not going to have as many megapixels. I'm not going to have my 36 megapixel Nikon D800 monster, which is amazing, and with a full frame sensor is just brilliant in low light. But I'm going to have to learn to live within the constraints, if that's what I can call them, of the Sony gear. But I'm looking forward to that challenge. So over the next few weeks or so, I hope you keep in touch as I start to experiment with this gear. And finally, before I go, I do just want to also say a thank you, because I know these are quite small numbers, but in YouTube terms, but during the past week when I've been away on holiday in Spain, my YouTube channel finally got up to the 100,000 view mark, and as I say, I know that's relatively small in YouTube terms. You know, people managed to get views many times that number in a single video, but I haven't got that kind of reach. But I tell you, if I was doing a photography exhibition and I managed to get that many people to come and view my work, I'd be totally gobsmacked and over the moon. And even if it was over a 2-year period. So I'm just so grateful to everybody who has taken the time to take a look at my channel. I hope you'll keep continuing to do so as well, and over the next few weeks I'll try and make sure we get some interesting content on there for you. So thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.